The December 2013 meeting of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee has now come to order. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Mr. Antelli? Here. Mr. Baroth? Here. Chairwoman Boyce?
Here.
Mr. Tucciarello? Here. Mr. Wilcox?
Here. Is there anybody signed up for the committee, sir?
There's not.
Anybody like to address the committee? Seeing none, public forum is now closed. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You will have the November 26, 2013 minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified by the end of the day. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 13-337.
Moved by Mr. Tucciarello, second by Mr. Antelli. Any discussion? Mr. Broth.
Through the chair of the administration, I think this is just a typo, but I just want to make sure. In the second to last paragraph, it talks about the agreement, funding from the agreement being included in the proposed 2014 budget. I'm assuming it's just, it should be 2014, not proposed, correct?
Madam Chair, that is correct. And when the referral was submitted, as the legislator knows, it was still technically the proposed budget. That's why.
Just want to make sure. Thank you. That's all.
You're good?
I'm good.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Next item on the agenda.
Referral 13-341. Authorize intermunicipal agreements.
Moved by Mr. Antelli, second by Mr. Tucciarello. Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Passes.
Referral 13-349. Authorize.
Moved by Mr. Tucciarello, second by Mr. Antelli. Yes, Mr. Baroth.
To the chair of the administration, I note that the contract, if it was to be renewed the maximum number of times, would be running for about 30 years potentially. It seems like a mighty long time. But leaving that aside, is there a start date for this contract? I don't see one listed.
Can you repeat that last sentence again?
Is there a start date for this contract? When the contract actually would begin?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Tim Freeler, Transportation, through the chair. We have not entered into the agreement yet. The agreement will be beginning in 2014 pending approval of the legislature.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, do we anticipate that, given approval from the legislature, that the start date would be somewhere in January?
Through the chair, that would be as early as we could start, certainly, but no sooner.
Yes, through the chair of the administration, do we anticipate that? Is there any reason to suspect it would not be in January is what I'm asking?
Through the chair, other than the other county needs to sign and return it, and the execution through the law department, other than that, it could happen in January, yes.
Thank you. So, so whether or not this is signed within, say, in January would depend not solely upon us, but also upon however their legislature might decide, whatever the other county might decide, correct?
Through the chair, please.
Through the chair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Through the chair, yes, that's correct.
Thank you. And through the chair, one final question. I note that it does say that the reimbursements between counties will be done, quote, by such services for actual necessary costs and expenses unless they agree in writing to dispense because they feel it's free. Is there any mechanism in place to determine what would occur if there was a disagreement on what the appropriate pricing should have been, or is it strictly a case of who bills who and we have to pay whatever's billed? Through the chair.
Thank you.
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Is there a mechanism in place that if there's a disagreement on what the actual costs for a project were, so if one county indicates that the cost of the project was $5,000 and the other county says that's ridiculous, it should have been $1,000, is there a mechanism in place to adjudicate or decide such disagreements? Through the chair.
Through the chair, yes. In general, the terms of it will be time and material in terms of actual staff time and charge at their particular labor rate. If there's equipment involved, we would be using state DOT equipment rates for those, and the cost would be monitored and shared with them along the way.
Okay, thank you. And then through the chair of the administration, my final question is there any maximum amount of for this exchange of services? For example, would there be a maximum amount you could not bill to Monroe County, for example, we will not pay, or however, a maximum amount of any amount to this agreement. So we couldn't have a project that would cost $1 million, for example.
Through the chair, no, there is not.
So potentially this could be any amount of money then through the chair.
Through the chair, yes, the way it is written.
And through the chair to the administration, is the administration comfortable with that?
Through the chair, we do not expect this to incur much, if any, costs. Most of these will be very small projects, if any, and trading of particular piece of equipment in exchange, so that we expect the dollar values to be very small.
Thank you. Then through the chair to administration, I could take that as a yes, you're comfortable with the contract as written.
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you.
No other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Passes. Next agenda item, please.
Referral 13-350, authorized.
Moved by Mr. Tucciarella, seconded by Mr. Antali. Questions? Yes, Mr. Brock.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, where is the SO9 currently located? The heavy piece of equipment?
Through the chair, Sam DeRosa, County Fire Bureau. The vehicle is temporarily being installed at Gates Fire.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, so the same location, is that correct? Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, has there any studies done or expertise or expert opinion provided that indicates the Gates location is the best location for the county as a whole? In terms of response time or accessibility to those areas that might need this, through the chair?
Through the chair, the answer to that is yes. That firehouse is centrally located. It's about 1 mile from the airport, where the current county vehicle is stored and transported from. And it's 5-minute access to 390 and 590 in either direction of the county.
Thank you.
Chair.
And through
Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, am I correct to assume that since it says there's no net county support required for this, that the Gates Fire District will be taking on an additional financial burden to support the SO9?
Through the chair, there is no financial burden to the Gates Fire District with this vehicle.
So through the chair of the administration, forgive my ignorance, if it gets a flat tire, who would pay for the flat tire?
Through the chair, the County of Monroe's Fleet Services.
Okay, thank you very much. And then finally, through the chair of the administration, how many times was this piece of equipment deployed last year?
Through the chair, this piece of equipment wasn't in
It
the
was
County
totally
of
new,
Monroe
haven't been
last year. This
deployed.
is a brand-new vehicle.
Thank you very much. Okay?
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Mr. Tucciarella.
I could help to answer one of the questions that Legislator Broth had. Being from the town of Gates, I'm proud to say that it is the geographic center of Monroe County, and Chili Avenue is a very connected road, where it's a state road, and that firehouse is the largest we have, and I think it's a perfect location for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tucciarella, for those historical facts. Yes, Mr. Barone.
Thank you. And through the chair to my esteemed colleague, I would have to say, as a former resident of Gates, I actually do appreciate the central location, and I like it as a wonderful town as well, and I think it's a fine location. I just want to make sure there was an expert opinion to indicate that this was a good location, so.
And I can third that. I used to be a former resident of Gates. I was just a wee little lassie. All right. That seems to be our last item on the agenda.
Got to vote on it.
Oh, yes, we do have to vote on that now after all that those fun factoids. Yes, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay. Are there any other items to come before the committee? None. Okay, before we do close the committee tonight, I'd like to recognize Mr. Antali for his fine work on the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and this will be your last committee, and we wish you well in your new position in the town of Greece. So don't forget us. And Mr. Helfer, I'd like to wish you well in your new position in the town of Greece as well. So thank you for your time and service. We appreciate all you've done for us. Thank you. So, if there are no other matters, the December 18th, 2013 meeting of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of Intergovernmental Relations Committee is Wednesday, January 29th at 5:30 p.m. Thank you.